You know, we're really strange as human beings. We like to think that the things that we like are divine, and the things that we don't like are evil or aren't divine. But in God's creation, or this creative play of existence, both are here and therefore must be divine. You know, there's no such thing as good and evil, but the mind will make it so. What's beyond the mind? Let's talk about that. So first, a quick apology for not being around very much lately. I've had to take some time off. I've had to realign myself, just readjust and get some good solid sadhana in myself so that the creative juices could start flowing again. So I'm here, I'm back, and should you wish, guys, down below, I'm starting up the group calls again, the affordable group calls. You're more than welcome to sign up down below. And there's one-to-one coaching as well if you're interested in that as well. Down below there's a free community for awakening souls. If you're going through an experience that you're not really sure about and you have nobody else to talk to, you're more than welcome to join us down below. And also down below you can sign up for the free breathing practice. This breathing practice will oxygenate the system, detoxify your nervous system, and energize yourself and your system as well. Everything in this existence is divine. There's no doubt in our minds that there's this creative force, there's this greater power out here that we might call God, or all that is, right? That is definitely intelligent because it's created this piece of kit here. I didn't create me. I wouldn't be so arrogant as to say such a thing. God or life or whatever created me and you as well. And as well, it's created trees that are perfectly balanced with our DNA, you know. It allows us to release carbon dioxide. It takes that carbon dioxide in and uses that as nourishment and brings out oxygen, which we then breathe in. There's so many symbiotic relationships that it's in too much harmony, this creation, for it to be an accident. It doesn't make sense. But what else humans like to do, because we have this incredible piece of kit called the mind, which, by the way, to be fair, is just a tool, right? The thing is, the only issue with us humans, I suppose, is we've used this tool as our whole identity. That one in our mind that says I, or you, or we, or us, and that is usually quite negative and abuses you in your mind, is what we call the ego. The ego is this separated sense of self in ourselves, isn't it? Let's say we feel an emotion of anxiety maybe in the chest, or depression perhaps in the belly. These emotions, though they don't feel perhaps really positive, they're just a sensation, aren't they? They're just a sensation. But the mind likes to create preferences, or this is my pain, and it will say, I don't like the way that I'm feeling, meaning bringing these emotions as an identity when it says that, isn't it? It's creating an identity out of the emotions. I'm feeling pain. I don't like this. Why is this happening to me? We see that nothing in this existence is good or evil, but the mind makes it so. What's implied in why is this happening to me? Well, what's implied if the mind says, why is this happening to me, or why is my life like this, is a bit of arrogance, isn't it? It's saying my life should be the way that I want it to be. But that isn't the way that life works. Now, all of life is divine, right? Everything in this creation is that God essence, or has that God nature, or that source energy nature in it, right? And this play of existence, we use the example of coronavirus perhaps, or we use the example of, I don't know, anything else, what's been happening? I don't know, let's just use coronavirus because it's the only thing on the tip of my tongue. We can see that as not divine, right? but nothing happens separate from the divine. Our egos might try and separate us from the divine inside of ourselves and create this little self and this big self inside of us, and that creates that separation, that nasty feeling inside of ourselves. Oh, I'm separate from the divine, or I'm separate from life, or this life is, I'm out here to do this all on my own, and I'm not supported by this great energy that is God, or life, or creation, or whatever we want to call it. The ego wants to create that separation inside of us and disconnect us from the divine. But even that separating one inside of us too is a gift from the divine, because it helps us see who we really are. The ego is a reflection of our true inherent nature, that spirit inside. How could we see that which we're trying to clean if we weren't the cleaner? This whole system is created through love, through divine love. It's a play of love, so that we see inside of ourselves, yes, I'm not the ego, but the ego is just there to reflect back to me that which I am. But the ego isn't less than what I am. It's needed and necessary in the fullness, the wholeness, the holiness of the divinity that I am and that we all are. So why do we like to reject things inside of ourselves and judge them as not divine? And what is it that's doing that? Because it's the mind, isn't it? See, when we put all of our identity in the mind, and it uses that word I, or you're not good enough for me, or I don't like the way this is, it's doing that separating thing again, isn't it? But it's judging our experience as not enough. Let's say we feel that emotion of hurt or pain. The mind will say, I don't like this, judging this emotion that we're feeling as not enough for me. And in doing that, by judging our experience, we've also judged ourselves, because it's ours, as not enough. It's subtle and sneaky, this mind, isn't it? But what it's trying to do is create a spiritual superiority. Oh, this emotion, because it's not spiritual, I'm such a spiritual person now, I can't feel these emotions. This emotion isn't good enough for me. But it's the spiritual ego now, right? It's still using that same I'm not good enough belief, but judging our experience of now as not good enough because I'm so spiritual and that I should be feeling great all the time. The divine, or God is sometimes said, doesn't know good and evil, doesn't know these things, doesn't know good and bad. Because it's just a sensation seen in the divinity that we are. But if we see it as just a sensation rather than something that the mind can attack, which is, oh, this emotion that I don't like, when it's just a sensation, then it can just be a sensation, right? We can have a sensation pop up on the surface of our consciousness and then watch that sensation leave. We can welcome a sensation, though it might be strong, that sensation of pain. We can just welcome that vibration of pain inside of ourselves and say, thank you, welcome. Come in, enjoy the fruits of my labour. And then allow it to leave. When we don't claim ownership of it with the mind and start saying, this isn't enough for me, we get rid of all of that ego craziness. We become whole, divine, and loving in this moment of this experience, because we see that even the pain is just a reflection of who we truly are. Whose pain is it? Well, it's separate from me, right? Not really, but it's separate from me. So there's distance between me and the pain. So can it really be mine? No. But is this pain just a visitor to reflect back to me the knower of pain, meaning the one that's divine? And does it need the pain to know it? Yes, it does. So why does the ego like to judge the pain as not enough? Because the pain inside of ourselves sometimes is the thing that awakens us to see, I've never been these things, yet I am these things. This is love, this is God's gift, this is God's divine gift. The pain is a gift to reflect back to me who I really am. I'm whole with the pain. The pain is enough for me. I'm thankful for the gift of pain. I'm thankful for love and joy as well. But when we resist, that persists. If we allow it to be, it can become our highest joy. It can become our biggest awakener. I hope this video helps. Remember to sign up for the group calls down below should you wish, thanks to the last group call that I've done. it was so popular that I've created another one, and we'll see how many people want to sign up for this one. Maybe it'll be less, maybe it'll be more, who knows, you know. It will be divine, whatever. It won't be worse than if less people turn up. It won't be better than if more people turn up, although I'm going to have to make a maximum of 10 people to come in, because otherwise it's too many people for me to be able to deal with. But it'll be divine nonetheless. The ego wants to judge. Let it judge. But know that in its judgment, that it's just reflecting back to us the divinity that we are. It's all divine. Namaste.